Do you ever watch things happen again? The old episodes of Sister Wives and find something that makes you go, wow, Nellie, this aged like milk, which means, wow, that's bad, that's old. Interested in what Janelle Brown really thinks about what she said here back in Season 9, when Kody and Robyn got together, taking the kids in. Okay, Robyn already. She was the mother, but Kody took the 3 children that Robyn brought into, the family from her former marriage, and when Kody married Robyn, there was this whole topic of talk about all the backlash the family was getting about this change in the marriage structure. Back when all of this happened back in 2015, the world was very worried that optically this would have looked like that Robyn was getting into the family simply for the reason to get Kody to be her husband and they would run off into the sunset. And Robyn acted like this didn't matter. Kody said, why would he divorce Robyn after the adoption goes through? And why would he remarry Robyn? Because why? Tamron brought up that formal marriages do hold clout over everything else. They legitimize a wife. The women get upset. And it's not just the women that get
angry, but it's Janelle that comes in for the support of Robyn. Check this out.
Last one in. And here she is, the flow. If they would have been there to see me coming in or Christine coming in, they would have seen the same thing. They only see Robyn. So they already have a mistrust for Robyn. They, for some evil unknown reason, they have this fear for Robyn. They see
this legal move and then there. Always like, well, see, we were right the whole time. This has been a ploy on the part of Robyn.
What I noticed in this season and this episode was previously during Tell Alls, Janelle had this tendency to be a lot more reserved and she didn't often speak for everyone else. She frankly just kept to herself and would answer questions. But in this Tell All, I noticed that she's sitting next to Kody and the two that look the most pissed off about the new marriage, which is Mary and Janelle, Christine, are sitting on the opposite side. And suddenly, Janelle is like the face for this friendship that's just happened, or this marriage that's just happened. And she makes the point to say that when I came into the family, or when Christine came into the family, you would have seen the same thing. And this whole Tell All spends so much time talking about what the people has responded to when they saw this shakeup. And Janelle mocks the public's view of how they viewed Robyn. And I don't think that the public was making it up in how they felt about her, what they saw she was doing, or I don't truly believe that. The public got it wrong. I think this was a planned process by Robyn to, little by little, get Kody to marry her, and it's finished by once she gets married, she puts the license, her marriage license, in a frame and hangs it on the wall. Now, McKelly will say that that's no different than what Mary did. Mary had her marriage papers hung on the wall, and it was like a power move that the legal wives would do, where they would hang it on the wall so everyone knew who had the formal marriage. But I just found it interesting that Janelle became the face and really wanted to defend that this didn't change everything, because it almost felt like they were overcompensating a lot. So much. I think at this point, all of them knew what was going on.
To somehow get her way. Well,
Nothing's changed with Kody and I. So, I don't know how you're getting your way, Robyn, but it's so hard. They don't see it.
Robyn, do you feel there's a difference now in your relationship with Kody? No. I forget. I'll forget that we have to do taxes together. Not only did she dismiss what the people was saying about this relationship shakeup, she also had to look right at Robyn and tell Robyn, like, listen, I don't know if you got what you wanted, but nothing in my marriage with Kody changed. That actually doesn't feel like she's being supportive of Robyn. That actually feels like she's telling Robyn that even though you got this formal marriage, I want you to know where my place is, and nothing has changed. There's times in the show where they each get territorial with him. And if Janelle says that there was problems when each of the wives came in and they would see the same problems every time a woman came in. She's basically admitting that when she came in and upset the family when she married Kody and she stopped Kody and Mary's friendship. She's essentially saying that I was like Robyn. I was like Robyn. You would have seen that with Robyn because that's what happened with me. So she's admitting. While she's also saying that people think that Robyn had an ulterior reason in joining the family, that somehow now that she got this marriage that proves that she had an ulterior reason. The difference between Janelle and Robyn is that Janelle never achieved the level of getting the formal marriage. If Kody would have wanted to be in a legal marriage with any of the other women, he could have done that at any time. He didn't though. He never made Christine or Janelle legal. He never even claimed Christine's kids officially as his own. Christine was a single mother that didn't even have children on the birth certificates. So it's also interesting to me that now, as we look back at it,
Here all these years later to see her, saying, well, nothing changed, Robyn. I wonder if at this time she was trying to one, stake her claim, but also trying to tell herself nothing changed, or trying to tell herself, or was she overcompensating for the fact that same season when they got married, she said that she was worried about
whether or not it would change the fabric of the family. So within the span of them getting married to the next season when they are married, it's well, yeah, you got married and I was concerned about that, but no, it really didn't change anything. I think they had to do a lot of talk like this to gaslight us about what we were hearing. Tell us what we were hearing was wrong. Tell us what we were feeling wasn't what we should be feeling. What we were seeing wasn't what we were seeing, and convince themselves we're faithful and they know so much about my life and they're constantly telling us how we should have done it. Where do you connect with? Every day on the street? I would walk down the street shopping. Somebody would go, hey, Kody, why don't you guys
just move into one house? That's the way a mixed family is supposed to live. Even in our own church, we have people that say what we did with this shuffle of the marriage license was inappropriate. Feel more than ever before that you're under attack. You know what? It's not necessarily under attack. It's under attack. So, this same show that Janelle is defending the fact that he's split.
Mary and married Robyn, and nothing has changed. Kody's also saying that people on the street are constantly criticizing his life and telling him what he should do, but they know nothing about his life. And they know nothing about polygamy. But then he also admits that the choice that he made to what he calls a paper shuffle, which is so absolutely offensive, is not even condoned or
supported with the church. And his dad did this. Like his dad divorced Janelle, Kody's mom, and he married Janelle's mom and made Janelle's mom the official wife because Cheryl was the favorite. And Kody saw what his dad did and wanted to do that too. And I think that if it didn't matter, and I think the point that this whole talk was about for Tamron was if the marriage license
doesn't matter and you're spiritual. Marriage is what matters, then no one should actually be married, because automatically the woman that has the marriage license winds up becoming officially legitimized, which then makes Robyn feel hurt, even though by this time she's the one that has the marriage license. And it's the truth of the situation. I mean, it's like my husband and we are officially married now. I can't tell you the last time I actually saw my marriage license with him. Like, I have no idea where that even is, but we've been married for almost 16 years. And I mean, to say that it's not something that legitimizes your relationship, it changes literally everything about your relationship. Honest to God, sappy as this might sound, I remember the night of my wedding, and it was final, and we signed the papers, and we were like husband and wife, and I just remember thinking, oh my God, this is my family. Like, this is him. That's my person and all. Never forget the peace that I felt. And I remember my husband saying the exact same thing, like he felt so much Peace knowing that we were a unit. We were a partnership. We were a family, even though we didn't have our hook son. Yet at that moment was when we became one, and we became a unit, and we became legally recognized as husband and wife. And it absolutely changes all aspects. I know people say it doesn't, but it does. Because then you have to file taxes. Differently, you have different public records as terms of like community property buying and having. Assets, your bank accounts, Everything changes, and it's something that you have to take seriously, because in order to get out of it, you have to take the steps of going through a divorce, which requires going to the court to get divorced. If marriage wasn't supposed to legitimize, there would be no reason to have marriage, right? So they all get offended. Well, not all of them.
Robyn gets offended about the spiritual marriages not being valid. But now I look back at this and I think Kody knew that what he was doing with Robyn was offensive. Kody knew that. Even within his own church they found it offensive. And the reason why in the church they would find it offensive is because the first wife, because she's the first and she's the one that ends up
sacrificing the most, because every time someone new is added, it's another obstacle between her and her husband. And every time a new wife enters, it's one more step away from her husband, because they go through what's called the law of Sarah in their ceremonies. And the wife that's the most recent has to place the hand of the new wife in the hand of the husband, effectively saying, he's yours now. And so Christine's the one that puts Robyn's hand into Kody's hand at the marriage ceremony and says, he's yours. I don't know what she says, but that's essentially what it means. And going through the law of Sarah, for many of the women that I've spoken to that have gone through the marriage ceremony, it's like the most heart-wrenching part of their life, because at that point they give up and have to realize that they are no longer the priority. The wife that is with him, that's given him that hand, that has that hand there, that's her husband. Robyn has never satisfied the law of Sarah. She's required to in order for her to get to the celestial kingdom. So there's like an infinite amount of requirements on women, like in order to fulfill your rights within the church, you need to satisfy the law of Sarah. And she never does, and she never has to go through that process. So she's never had to go through the process of what it feels like to be rejected once Kody takes on someone new. And she's able to avoid it by getting Kody to be exclusive to her during COVID, and Kody effectively abandons all the other women. And Robyn has said over and over again that she was really weirded out about getting the state involved, and she never wanted to have the state involved. And again, if that were true, they wouldn't be married today, so people in the church would be offended by his choice to do the paper shuffle, because essentially he's disregarding the sacrifice that Mary continues to make and makes on a daily basis for him. And he also disrupts the order of the wives, even though Robyn can never be the first wife. When she becomes the legal wife, she effectively becomes the legal wife and the first wife. So, of course, the hierarchy at the church would be offended by the choice. Of course, they would find it offensive. Of course, it would be disrespectful, because the first wife's sacrifice is always supposed to be honored. And it shatters that foundation of how these quote-unquote families are supposed to be created and modeled and put together. If this marriage meant nothing, as they all claim it, they said this was all in season 15, season 9. This is 2015 or 2016 when they're filming this. They all say it means nothing. So, if it means nothing, now we're at the end of, like coming full circle. Why is it that when Janelle left, she had a hard time getting claim on the money? Why did she have to fight tooth and nail to get Kody to do the right thing? Why was it that once as she did leave, she had no shared assets with him? Why was it that when she did leave, Robyn had to be the benevolent one and agree to certain giving up aspects of the money? Why did Robyn have the power to try to stop sales? Why did Robyn have the ability to say, I don't want to give up my portion of the money? I don't think. You should get that. I don't want you to. Partner with Janelle because I'm your wife. You need to partner with me. Janelle all but had to admit that. When she left Kody, she had no legal
recourse and nothing to show for it because she wasn't a legal wife and there was no legal remedies that she could use to go to court to say that this is mine because she's not a legal wife. There's no community property for a mistress. There's no community property for someone that's, not legally recognized. And so I found it really odd that the women
that kept saying that their relationships were valid once they left recognized that, wait a minute. Oh yeah, you're right. It's not as easy as we thought. Oh yeah, you're right. We do get kind of screwed when we let leave. Oh yeah, you're right. The legal wife can make it harder on us. Oh, right, you're right. The legal wife can control the bank accounts and all of the things that happen that they feared would happen. And everything that we saw Robyn doing, she did. And this is all just so wild to see and look back in time because it's obvious that Janelle wasn't happy. It's also obvious that Janelle saw what everyone else saw and yet still pretended like what we saw we didn't see and defended it. I wonder if Janelle ever looks back and watches these. And this isn't to come at Janelle. It's more just talking about how she's responding to the marriage because it's such a if you go to season 20 and you see what she had to go through, you realize everything that we were worried about or concerned about for these women is what ends up happening. I just hope at some point they all get to a point. I
know Christine's there that she doesn't think it's good for anyone. And I know that Mary doesn't agree with it either. But I hope that Janelle gets to a point where she understands why those of us that don't agree with it don't agree with it. And it has nothing to do with not liking her. It's all about real wanting to protect her and say you don't deserve this. You deserve more than this.
This is what he's doing to you is horrible. What are your thoughts? Tell me in the comments below. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed and click the bell so you never miss a video. Thanks so much for watching. Bye, besties.